Welcome back, part 3 of strengthening the spine and the core with a fused or sensitive spine. For this video, we will be not laying on our back as we were in the first two videos. We're going to be flipping over. So for this one, you may want a blanket padding your knees at first. And then we're going to start out in a tabletop position. So for tabletop, a couple things to keep in mind. One is that it can be a lot for the wrists. So I want you to remember that you do not have to have wrists directly below the shoulders. In fact, for a lot of us, it can feel way more comfortable to have the hands just a little bit in front of the shoulders. So that's totally fine if that is for you. So find a position where you feel like you can press the floor actively away from you. Hands are nice and strong without the wrists being like, ouch. Another option is to take hands to blocks and then squeeze the blocks. So you could either have two or one finger on top, squeeze the blocks with your thumb and outer fingers. So that puts a little bit less pressure on the wrists as well. So find a way to have your wrists that is hunky-dory. And then we're going to tuck the toes under. We're not going to do any big movement just yet, but we are going to do that little bit of scooping of the tail. So in this case, tailbone is going to scoop towards the ground. It's the same action that we did in those first two videos. As my tailbone scoops towards the ground, I want to feel a little lift of my low belly. So low belly lifting a little towards the low spine. Hands are pressing the floor. My arms and shoulders are already being like, okay, this is a lot for us. But hey, don't worry, guys. We won't be here too long. So now, pressing the hands into the ground, lifting the low belly, scooping the tail down, I'm going to lift my knees just a tiny little bit, just a little hover. I'm going to put them down. So when I lift my knees, I don't want to lift from my butt. This is me lifting from my butt. Ready? See how arched my low spine is and how my core is not actually really doing much? So I don't want to do that. I want to do this. Ready? I'm going to lift from my belly. Belly lift. Pelvis scoops a little bit. Push the floor away. I'm lifting from right here, my belly. Great. So you can play with the position or the distance between the hands and the knees too. Some people might find it more accessible or sustainable to have the hands and the knees a little closer. So rather than hips over knees, the hips might start a little behind the knees. Let's try that way. Push down, belly up, lift the knees. Maybe even walk the feet a little closer when you're there. So that's totally fine too. That just makes it, for a lot of us, makes it a little bit easier to feel that engagement of the front body if you're pulling the knees a little closer. But that's it. That's the whole thing. It's called the Beast. I learned it in my kettlebell class at a beautiful place that no longer exists. It's called Bleeding Hearts Kettlebell Club. But yes, this is the Beast. Hopefully you'll feel beast-like when you do it. And it is a wonderful warm-up or way to build strength for plank pose, which will be what we'll do in our next video. So thanks for joining. See you next time.